गुड इवनिंग देवी और सज्जनों, थेम्स स्पीक्स के आज के इस कार्यक्रम में आप सभी का हार्दिक स्वागत है। थेम्स स्पीक्स वो कार्यक्रम है जो देश और दुनिया से थेम्स के किनारे जो लोग बसे उन सब की कहानियों को, उन सब के किस्सों को एक धागे में गुंथ कर आपके समक्ष प्रस्तुत करने की कोशिश करता है। हमारे पास पहले बहुत से अच्छे से मेहमान और गेस्ट्स आए जिन्होंने अपने जीवन का रस हम सब के कानों में घोला और हम सब के जीवन को एक नया अर्थ देने की कोशिश की। फ्रॉम ऑल दोज गेस्ट्स वी लर्न लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स। आज हमारे सामने हम एक नए गेस्ट्स हैं, बट दिस स्टोरी बिगिंस फ्रॉम द प्लेस जहाँ से शंकराचार्य हुए, आदि शंकर ने एक बहुत अच्छी सी composition लिखी, and still that composition is resonating in my mind, and that composition was called Moh Mugdar. That composition was supposed to break the attachment from the samsara, but later on that composition became popular as Bhaj Govindam. It was beautifully sang by M.S. Subbulakshmi. There are a lot of good quotations in that composition, but I still love few sentences from that composition. There's one sentence which says, Sur mandir taru mool nivasa shayya bhutal manjin vasa sarva parigra bhog tyaga kashya sukham na karoti viraga. Means, wherever I go, I always find there's a joy, there's an ananda. There's one more quotation from the same Moh Mugdar or Bhaj Govindam. It says, पुनरपि जननम पुनरपि मरणम पुनरपि जननी जठरे शयनम ई संसारे बहुदस्तारे कृपया पारे पाहि मुरारे. Rebirth, again we have to die, again we have to reborn in human form or animal form, again we have to go in the womb of mother, and then again we have to face all those challenges. I just want detachment from this whole process. So I cannot say this story begins from there, because we believe in eternity. We believe in that eternal cycle, infinite cycle. We are just part in this infinite cycle somewhere. So there is no beginning, there is no ending. So this story begins from the place where Lord Vishnu is in Anant Nidra, which is called Teru Anantpuram. And there is one very famous person, very famous sage, who is very popular in Europe. And I would like to welcome Mohanji. Please, Mohanji, who is our honorable guest today. Namaste, Mohanji.
Namaste.
It's great to have you on this program, especially on Thames Speaks, because I think Thames weaves those stories which are positive stories where we have a contribution from renowned people. So, I would like to, how I see Mohanji. Mohanji is a great humanitarian. He is a person who is working an amazing thing in terms of spirituality, but not only spirituality, he is also involved with a lot of different type of humanitarian aid and activities. His life is focused on ahimsa, his life is focused on veganism, his life is also focused on humanity. There's no religion. The only religion I think which he follows is humanity, which excels our life. So as Sanatan Dharmi, he also believes in giving back to the society, giving back to the Mother Earth, rather than just taking and storing for ourselves. So he is presenting a new idea which is completely different from the Western world's idea, where we always believe in I, me and myself. So this is also a new concept. So there are different phases, there are different stages which we will discover today in this whole discussion. I know my discussion is just will be mainly based on one particular aspect, and that's called mast. Mast is an Asian word. It means it's a special physical or mental state where a person is in ecstatic joy. But is it really different from fun? Is it really different from happiness? Or is it an eternal state where a human being is feeling, maybe I can say, never-ending happiness? So this is something which I want to discuss today. There are a lot of things which I can mention about Mohanji's contribution to the community, but with time, I will also share those aspects of Mohanji. I have read a few other books. One of his earlier book, which was known as Power of Purity, and now recently I have seen the book which is known as Mast. I read the book, and I can see when a reader reads the book, it takes a lot of time. After some time, maybe the reader wants to reread that book because he wants to absorb few more things. So this is a book which I feel personally I really want to read it again and again. And so today, a lot of questions. So Mohanji, welcome and congratulations and thank you for writing such an amazing book. My first question is based on this, that how come you got an idea to write a book like Mast? What was thought behind it?
Thank you, Mr. Jodha. Thank you for inviting me. It's really a pleasure to be with you here in Ma TV and this program. When you started, you spoke about Adi Shankara and Bhajagovindam. That literally brought me a state of stability, stillness, which Adi Shankara is a real inspiration for me. You know, at the age of 8, he said, Mano buddhya hankara chittani naham. Naja Shrotra Jihue, Naja Krana Netre. I'm not the body, mind, intellect, ego, spirit. I am eternal Shiva. So from that level of perfection, an avatar happened and he took us through various things like Bhajagovindam. Bhajagovindam is really a mirror on the face of people. Now coming to your question, how Mast happened? Mast is a state of ecstasy, drunk with God. You know, you are ecstatic because you are drunk with God, supreme consciousness. And that's our state, our actual state. But why are we not experiencing that state? Because we are chasing things outside. We are equating pleasures as happiness, means eating, drinking, sleeping, gains from the world outside, possessions and positions and relations. This is what we think as pleasure or normal. Actually, it is not true. When we go deeper and deeper inside, when we start connecting with ourselves, we arrive at a state where we know that all these facades, including the 3 times of the day, like waking, dream, and deep sleep, they are all just dimensions of existence, but there is one unity, one union, one consciousness, which is above everything or control or actually guiding everything, aiding everything. When we connect to that, we go into an ecstatic state. That means we can afford to have happiness without materials, without possessions or relations. That makes us free. That's a state of mast. Mast is an Urdu word which is ecstatic, a person who is in ecstasy, deep ecstasy. How this came along is when I was practicing very deeply in the early 2000s, that time I kind of arrived at a space where I was not dependent on things outside, where actually many of the things which I was dependent on broke off, went away. And still I could feel that I lost nothing. So then I realized that what you can actually lose is only a kind of relative losses, means what you gained from here, you lost, you cry. So all these possessions, positions, and relations are things which have come to us at some points in time. And there is something which is always with you, which is unchangeable. And that thing is giving you absolute peace, or that thing is based on peace. That is peace. So that's the thought which came to me. A person, a character who is completely at peace with himself and in that way ecstatic. So as we discuss, I'll tell more about this, but that was the idea. Then I started writing writing blogs about a character called Atmananda, who is established in peace and completely very much in tune with the world of duality. Means he is not in conflict with anything. Happiness or sorrow, he's not in a resistance mood. He's not resisting anything. A total acceptance of life as it is and well settled inside. The right place to settle down is inside us. So he's fully settled inside and he's in a state of ecstasy. So that's exactly what Mast is about.
Thank you. I think a lot of people, they really want to know how come they achieve their state of Mast even they live in this materialistic world. Sometimes it is really difficult for the people, because out of 24 hours, they spend 10 to 12 hours in the office, maybe 5-6 hours with the family. In that time, they always talk about three things. It is related with the power, possessions, and relations. And must is a state. I know it is a total acceptance, but still people are not ready to accept it, that the total acceptance is possible. So my next question is, based on the first part, I know this is a story from Atmanand and starts from the Vamdev and his quest to become the disciple of Guru in the bank of Ganga in Banaras. So when I was reading the book, I also got a question which I read in few other places. From the beginning of the civilization, prayers are an important part. Prayers are more to connect with, I can say prayers are more to connect maybe with the superpower, or maybe the supreme power, or maybe the power which lies in us. So we pray in temple, in church, in mosque and other places. So do you really feel that when we pray, someone is there who is listening, who is hearing our prayers, who is responding to our prayers?
Yes. Since you talked about the first part, this first part of our life is very important. That's exactly how we are positioning our life for the future. Today, as you rightly asked, how do we accept everything that comes our way? That's a question because we have a concept before we start accepting. We have a kind of expectation before acceptance. So that's why we are always, or many times, we are in conflict with what we have. So I'll come to that. In this book, I'm talking about 4 aspects of human existence from the eyes of an Avadhuta, a person who's completely detached from the world. First is Brahmacharya.
I'm sorry, I will interject here, I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
A lot of people, special audience, maybe they really don't know what is the actual meaning of Avadhuta. People may know about yogis, people may know about sannyasis, people may know about monks and saints and sages. But what is the actual meaning of Avadhuta, and what is the state of that mind which is known as ecstatic joy? So kindly just explain to us about Avadhuta first.
Sure. A state of complete settlement inside, when your mind, intellect and ego is totally dissolved into consciousness, the energy that is inside us. See, we all have an energy aspect inside us, which is completely silent, just like the electricity. Electricity is operating through a light bulb and it brings light. The same electricity operates through a washing machine, it has a different effect. The same electricity operating through a refrigerator gives a different effect. Like that energy that operates through a human body, it gives the effect of a human being. It operates through a tiger, it gives the effect of a tiger. So not the form, but the electricity, the energy that is inside us, that's the only real thing. That's what's activating the whole existence, right from birth till death and beyond. So this is the clear understanding. And then when somebody completely surrenders himself or connects to that electricity within, he kind of detaches from the seeming facades of life. That means I told about positions, possessions, relations, which are very attractive and very binding during our waking state. And we have our desires and inclinations connected to these things. So when a person is totally connected inside, fully realized about what's running the show, and completely in a state where he is fully settled, I mean, there is no way he can be swayed by the things outside. That's a state of an Avadhuta, a well-established personality, a well-established, or in other words, established. So a person who's fully settled inside, he doesn't need practices because he's already inside within, and he does not have any particular methods or patterns or anything. All things are dissolved. A state of fully accomplished or accomplishment, state of accomplishment, that's an Avadhuta. So I hope this is reasonably clear.
Yes.
So
So we will come back to the original conversation where I interjected, where you were explaining that there's an Abduta and how to attain that state.
correct. So in the story of Atmananda, by the time he was 8, he was only son. So he decided he will go only to this particular guru, who's far away from his place. Many weeks he has to travel to reach Banaras. But he decided that's the only guru he will accept as his teacher. So his father and mother, everybody said, this is very difficult. We won't be able to see you. But his single pointed uh, concentration, decision actually to be with that guru brought him that thing. And if you look at the whole interaction, there was hardly anything the guru taught the disciple. In fact, he just allowed the disciple to be himself and brought him his mind, intellect, ego, everything that is possibly scattered in the outside world. He allowed it to be collected and brought inside and melted inside. And when this disciple was reasonably aligned, the guru transferred himself to him. That means when the wood was dry, a spark was, or all that it took was a spark from the master, and he caught the fire. So that simple was our education system. The same education system which we had great education system in the world, in India, which is unique to the world. So I wanted to touch upon that way, because we are learning so many subjects basically to earn a living, while we hardly learn about ourselves. We don't connect to ourselves at all. That's why we have many emotions, many distractions. All these things are because we are hardly connecting with ourselves. So the first part of brahmacharya, he was spending the time with the guru in the Gurukul in Banaras, and all that he did was assimilate himself, and the guru made him a perfect being. And then the guru said, now you have to take care of your father and mother. It's a responsibility. Here, dharma comes to play. He went to his parents, but again, you see the maturity of the parents. They were very happy that in their family, a great master came and took birth. They knew that this master has come to the family, and they were ecstatic about it. They were very happy about it. And they knew very well, even though he is the only son, he will not stay with the family. They blessed him. So that is the second part. That is in our actual life, it's the grihastha, the time where after learning, we start living and making a living, or a family, and then possessions and stuff. So second part is that he spent some time with his family, then he went wandering. That is the vanaprastha, the third step. That means whatever he learned, whatever he earned, he knew that it has to be distributed. So he went around to various places. He never stayed in one place. He lived his whole life wandering. He never spent more than 3 days in any place. So he went wandering, and he was giving discourses at various places. People came, and many people got various levels of, or they could explore various dimensions within. And then the last stage of sannyas, that means the time before he died. He died at the age of 49. So the last stage was he was in relative silence. He didn't talk much, but with a glance or with a look, or somehow he conveyed the message. So this whole story, the flow of the story is a reasonably stable seeker, established in himself, going through the life with conviction, connection, and deep stability, very deep, very stable, and going through the whole life, and then attaining liberation. Oh, he is already liberated. In fact, he is liberated even before he started his grihastha time. That means when he came out of the Gurukul, he was already liberated. Liberated means he is disconnected from the world outside. He had no requirements from the world outside except for survival, etc., the basic requirement. Apart from that, he was not dependent on any pleasures which we derive out of materials or relations or things like that. So a very stable person and a very stable life, fully occupied in activity which are of liberating in nature, liberating people around him, and like that leading a life of stability. That's the whole story of the book, and there are various incidents connected to it. So that's to sum it up.
We will
This is
discuss
how it
those
is.
incidents because
Yes.
incidents makes this story interesting. Otherwise, it has got the same philosophy of those 4 ashrams which we are learning from the beginning of the civilization, especially from the Vedic
Yes.
culture. So
Correct.
this story was purely woven in these 4 different ashrams, and along with those 4 ashrams, how a normal human being can be a very good seeker. So this is a story of that journey. This is what I think myself and an audience is getting that sense. Apart from this, there is a very good question from one of my close friend, and she is also a guide to me about spiritual life. So she was just asking one simple question, that is really that action important, or that feeling behind that action is important? Sometimes we do our action or karma, we perform a duty and finish it, but is that important, or the feeling behind that karma or that action is important?
I would say that spontaneous action is important. When we have doership, it loses its purity. When we think we are doing something, then we lose a little bit of purity in it. But an action spontaneously happening, it always gives that perfection, especially if we are not attached to the results of the action, then it's very, very pure. So if we just consider the 3 gunas that is driving our existence, the tamo guna is the most heaviest and the gravitational of all gunas. The rajo guna is the slightly more levitational and action related, means it drives you to move, and sattva guna. So these are the 3 gunas which are the driving force, and the percentage is connected to, just like the day, almost 12 hours of the day is tamo guna, tamas, and that's gravitational. Inclinations and tendencies and desires are sprouting out of them. Then comes rajo guna, the action side, and that's much better than tamo guna because there is something happening there. But again, it's like a pendulum, happiness and sorrows, desires sprout there as well. Then comes sattva guna, where you are in a hyperactive state, where 24 hours you are active in some plane, in some level where your action is not even visible. And that way, when mind is not getting involved in an action, you have no karma connected to it. Only when you have ownership of action, there is a karma. When you are completely dedicating your action, your thoughts, your expressions, everything to consciousness, then we are free from karma. So in this context, is an action important? Action is not important provided it is mind-oriented, mind-produced. Yeah, an action is very important if it is spontaneous and it's happening by itself. So many activities like niyoga. Niyoga means appointed duty. Dharmic activities. This is all happening, but it's not gathering you any karma. But an activity where ownership is involved, it attracts karma to you. And then that gives you more and more heaviness. So sattva is highly levitational, rajoguna is medium levitational, and tamoguna is 100% gravitational. So our existence lies between these 3. So first and foremost is to shed the tamoguna and move to the rajoguna, means action. Action, and then we purify the action through 80% selfless action and 20% selfish action, and then moving forward further until it becomes 100% selfless action. Then automatically we shift to sattva guna. Like a fan going very fast, you don't even see the action, that fast it is, and totally dedicated, totally given to the existence, and you have dedicated your life to the existence, and then you are in a state of complete sattva guna, so that you are hyperactive, but probably that action is not even visible, and you have no attachment to that action. That makes you pure. And then this tamoguna completely leaves. That also takes away all your desires, all your inclinations, vasanas, tendencies, they all drop off. And then you are existing in a very high plane. That's the state of yogis, great masters, where they are seemingly inactive, but they are extremely active. They are Their vibrations are transforming everything around them, like the Atmananda story. While he was walking, so many beings were getting benefited. Not that he was physically getting involved, but his presence was purifying the nature, the environment, people, animals, birds. He was living like a huge vacuum cleaner. So he was constantly purifying things around him. So like a bright light which brings brightness and removes all kinds of darkness, that kind of existence happens spontaneously.
I think I can link this with a lot of things. Maybe audience should know that Mohanji is also involved with a lot of social activities. He is also running in many countries, maybe more than 16 countries, he is running, especially Amukh Charitable Trust, ACT Foundation, ACT for
21
Hunger,
countries.
Himalayan School of Traditional Yoga, Languages, Dance and Martial Arts, World Conscious Alliance and Early organizations, especially in UK, where we are building one of the first Lord Jagannath's temple, and he is also advisor to that temple committee. We will discuss about these karma, but we will also continue discussing about mast after this break. So please wait for us after the break, and we will be with Mohanji.
Our responsibly sourced Botanica range is grown by nature, but the UK has lost 97% of its wildflower meadows. So Botanica by Airwick and WWF pledge to restore 20 million square feet of wildflower habitats in the UK. Join us and let's bring nature back. Botanica by Airwick.
Love that feeling? Join the AA, the UK's #1. Our patrols will usually get you back on the road in around 30 minutes of getting to you. Plus, we'll give you unlimited call-outs, so we'll always be there when you need us. Love that feeling? We'll get you back on the road from £6 a month. The AA. Join today. Call 0800 29 40 999 or visit theaa.com.
Since I was little, I've grown up playing football. As long as I got a ball at my feet, I'm happy. I'm Yasmin and I play football for Saltley Stallions. Being a part of the team and being at the pitch just gives me a space to be free and be myself, to just go and have fun. And that's worth protecting.
At Middleton's, we present our Discovery Scooter. Let's take a closer look. Available in copper, red or purple. Easily fold and unfold using the remote control, or the buttons on the rear of the scooter itself. Folding within 20 seconds. And weighing in at only 20 kilograms, this compact scooter adjusts to fit inside most car boots. Middleton's. Live life without limits.
Beauty is about embracing who you really are. Beauty tools precisely crafted with an 18-karat gold-plated head to gently sweep away hair for smooth, polished skin. Be you. Be flawless.
Flawless is the fast, easy, pain-free way to remove unwanted facial hair instantly and painlessly. It's gentle on all skin types. Only $19.99 from Asda, Boots, Lloyds and Wilko.
With WW, I can enjoy the food I want when I want. Why haven't you joined yet? Oh, because you're waiting for this commercial to end. I get it.
WW Weight Watchers Reimagined. Try us out for free.
You're incredibly lucky even to see this beautiful animal. She's one of the last precious few mountain gorillas. But her life is full of mortal dangers, like this vicious trap left to catch other animals. Will you help protect her future? Please adopt a gorilla with WWF for just £3 a month. Call 0800 038 0911 or search WWF Adopt a Gorilla and adopt a better future for gorillas today.
At Heycar, all our cars come with a warranty. And we offer a 10-day money-back guarantee.
Yes, I can. Doubt better leave. I wanna with this plan. Pull me, grab me, crabs in the bucket, can't have me. I'll be the president one day. January 1st. Oh, you like that gossip? Like you the one drinking what gossip.com. Now I got a word for your tongue. How many rollers
the best quality cars, search Hey Car now.
Hey, buying a car never felt so good.
For the perfect car this Father's Day, think Thoughtful.com. From DIY dads to dads that can't dance. Dads who think they're super funny, and dads who are simply super. Grumpy dads, funky dads, even slightly Trumpy dads. We've got thousands of cars for all sorts of dads, all thoughtfully created by independent designers. Meaning every card you buy from our marketplace helps to support a small business too. So for the perfect card, think Thoughtful.com.
गुड इवनिंग देवी और सज्जनों, हमारी चर्चा थेम्स स्पीक्स में आज इस विषय पर थी कि मस्त जो एक बहुत बड़ा आनंद का शब्द है, एक ऐसी अनुभूति है जिसे हम महसूस कर सकते हैं पर जिसके बारे में कहना बहुत मुश्किल है। जब आप उस अनुभूति को लेने के माध्यम और उस तरीके के बारे में बात करना चाहते हैं और उस अनुभूति में कैसा महसूस होता है जब आप उसके बारे में बात करना चाहते हैं तो आपको एक विलक्षण ज्ञान प्राप्त होता है। ये कैसा है, इसका रास्ता क्या सिर्फ किताबी है या फिर इसका एक रास्ता उस तरीके से आया जिन्होंने अपने जीवन को इस पूरे रास्ते के हिसाब से ढाला और अपने अनुभवों को उन्होंने शब्दों में आत्मानंद का रूप पहनाकर हम सबके सामने प्रस्तुत किया। चीज़ें बहुत सारी लंबी हैं जिनके बारे में चर्चाएं बहुत होनी है, बट एज ए लेमैन वी वर टॉकिंग टू मोहन जी, who is our esteemed guest today. So I would like to welcome Mohanji again on this platform. Pranam Mohanji. And we were discussing about one of his book which is known as Mast, and I read the book and I also read his previous book which was known as Power of Purity. So we are fortunate that we are having discussion about Mast today. There are a lot of questions. As a layman, I think this question comes to everyone's mind. Who am I? And this question comes and it fizzles out within a day or two. So sometimes we keep on thinking about this particular topic. Sometimes we just think maybe for a few moments and leave it. But still this question does come into mind of each and every human being at some stage. Few people, they try their best. They try to find a way. Few people, they will try to read books. Few people will try to find guru. So maybe hardly few people succeed in this particular question. My question is, who am I? How this book will help us to find out who am I, or what is actual, or what is reality.
Thank you, Mr. Jodha. The idea about this book is, I wanted to give clarity to people that it's not in practices, it's not in guru, it's not in any things outside that we can actually find what's inside. We have to travel inside. Actually, there's no journey, but then a constant effort to know who we are. That's the question you asked, who am I? This question comes to everybody's mind. And many people just resort to activity. And they think, oh, I'm meditating, I'm chanting, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, karma yoga, raja yoga. They feel that, okay, now I am reaching there. Absolutely not. See, this state of Abduta is a state which is from within you have earned, not from outside. So from within, with constant efforts, you come to a terms where your mind is not scattered anymore on various objects of the past or incidents of the past, nor anxiety of the future. We are not scattered at all. And intellect is the processor which processes information, stops processing or analyzing anything. It only takes in what's essential for its journey within. And ego is the thing which maintains a personality, skeleton of the personality. And what it really maintains is the social relevance that we have in this world. So all these three things are focused inside. Mind, which processes emotions, intellect, which processes informations, and ego, which processes our personality matters, our position in the society, etc. All are focused. And then what we see inside is what we have stored over time. And they also starts vanishing, because when there is no input or there is no reception from outside world, we stop, we start exhausting the storage, what we are stored. And then it comes to a state where no thoughts are produced. No thoughts are produced means there's no desire even. There's no inclinations or tendencies. So you become more and more stable within, where you are not driven for, or you're not chasing anything in life. Whether a possession is available there or not, whether a position is there or not, a relationship or relation is there or not, you're still stable. And that level of stability, you start experiencing the real runner of the show, the real energy that activates all these faculties. And that's the time when you come in contact with the soul. You know, Adi Shankara has said, since you told about Adi Shankara, my mind goes back to it. Has said, I sincerely apologize to you, God, because I tried to put you in a name or a place or an activity. And I thought that's you, where you remained beyond all this. So we can't contain God in a form. God is also in form. A part of us is God, the God element, which is the soul element. And it's in every name. Ram, the name is very powerful because that represents the supreme consciousness. And that path is also good or enough to reach the supreme consciousness. Lord Krishna is supreme consciousness. Every being we can connect to for the sake of aligning our senses and mind on one object to penetrate and go further into the vast consciousness is okay. That's fine. So we can understand ourselves, assimilate ourselves with a guru or without guru by connecting to our inner guru. That's our constant companion. Our inner guru is our constant companion. External gurus are only existing when you are connecting, or when you are in waking state or wake up state, or when you are awake. But inner guru is always there. So you start listening to the inner guru more and more. That's the story of Atmananda. He was only listening to himself within. And that tells, I need nothing. All these sensory pleasures, all the things which you talk about, position, possession, relation, they are all connected to the external world and I have nothing to do with it. And even if you are connecting to all this, that's me. You are connecting to me outside of you. Like our projection brings forth an experience, and that's what we are connecting to. Our own projection is bringing forth similar experience, and that's what we are connecting to. And sometimes we accept, sometimes we reject. That's the drama that we play in the society. Sometimes we love, sometimes we hate. This drama is played because that's the only way you can experience a duality. And when we separate this love and hate and everything is gone, you only see love. Because love does not need any provocation. Love is existing always. But hate has to be created through resistance. So we come to a state of complete stillness after a while. And then we realize, what drama are we playing in this world? You know, in the name of we are struggling to keep a name. You know, this form we are addicted to this form. That's the main reason why we can't really connect to the actual reality within, because we are so addicted to the form of our form, what we see in the mirror, our position in the society, as the society has accepted or rejected us. Whatever we are in this incarnation, that identification is delaying the process of actual connection. So these meditations and these practices that we do, we can choose anything we like. We can connect to the breath, we can connect to heartbeat, we can connect to any practice. But the aim should be not the practice, but actually recognizing our true potential within us. Once you really recognize it, we understand everything is us. It's our projection. A part of me is sitting in others as well. So then there is no separation. We can't hate anybody. We cannot hate anybody. We become full of love because that's what we are.
I completely agree with you, Mohanji. I think when we discuss about this particular concept, there are thousands of concepts in books, and even people try to explain that how to connect with the super consciousness or how to connect with the vast sea of that consciousness. People People will suggest us for imagination, people will suggest for breathing style, people will suggest maybe focus on certain things. So there are a lot of different techniques which people suggest. I think the biggest challenge in front of each and every seeker is that how to start that point where first thing they will focus on particular one thing, and second thing which will open the gate or the window of that vast ocean of that consciousness. I think these are the two things people are struggling to get the first stage. I was reading your book, and when the first thing which catch my eyes was the first sentence even in the book. So I will read that. This book is offered as flower of gratitude to the great masters of every path, who guided mankind to freedom from all kinds of bindings of mind, intellect and ego through time. This is clearly a devotion and dedication to the people, those who are known as gurus, those who are known as masters. And in Indian ancient system, we have a series or sequence of those masters. And as you mentioned, Adi Shankara was one of those greatest masters whom we still revere in these after thousands of years. He was also an ardent traveler, and he wrote a lot. He established different maths, he propagated his philosophy, and he unified all those different ideas. He said all these are different pathways, finally it is leading to the same Brahma which resides in me, which resides in you. So, what is that tradition? Can you just elaborate so at least people will be more aware of the tradition, that with time different type of human beings and different type of gurus, they come and they open the new gates and windows for humanity?
Well, the tradition of Adi Shankara, we can call it Advaita, non-duality. Non-duality is our original state. Now, in the case of Atmananda, we talk about acceptance. The story is about his main practice was acceptance. We all are a bundle of plus and minus, positive and negative. Nobody is only positive, nobody is only negative. So we are a broad mixture of all these things. So we got to accept them, only then we can overcome them. So our main practice as the path of Abduta, what we said was total acceptance. And through acceptance, you don't have a conflict with yourself, then you don't have a conflict with the world, conflict with situations, conflict with anything. So there are many great paths in Bharat, in our great land, Bharat. Our main strength has been our total acceptance of every person as they are. This has always, sometimes it's been exploited as well, but still, the strength that nobody is told, if you are within this frame, we accept you. If you are not in this frame, we reject you. We never said that. And that's why we have yogis, siddhas, avadhutas. We have numerous types of or states of people existing in numerous states, and everybody was accepted. Like look at Datta tradition, Dattatreya tradition. Very powerful masters, fully occupied. Datta is an avadhuta. So as an avadhuta, he's kind of the supreme avadhuta. So Lord Dattatreya. Lord Dattatreya, when he was asked, who are you? He said, I am just a worshipper of nature. That means he had 24 gurus, and many of these gurus were from nature. That means observe, accept, assimilate, and be yourself. So this is simplest possible. So from there you attain great powers, great stability, where nothing shakes you. No storms of life can shake you. You are supremely powerful. And many times the people attack people who are seemingly harmless. We can see that in the society. Those who are harmless and those who are benevolent are attacked more than people who are cunning or they are political and stuff like that. So here a person like Datta or an Avadhuta is more of a presence. So you can catch that presence everywhere. There is no way that we can miss the presence if you have eyes to see. So great masters looked like nothing, but they were supremely powerful. We respected them. Sometimes they looked like mad people, but but we accepted them as they are. Example, Sai Baba. Sai Baba was considered as mad by many people, but we know very well now, after 100 years after he left his physical form, he's supremely powerful. So we have various great masters of that power. We have Siddha tradition, great Siddhas, 18 Siddhas of Bhoganatha Babaji and all that. Kriya tradition, which is from Babaji and various great masters of Kriya tradition. Kriya is actually a technique, so that tradition. Nad tradition is codified based on the state of Shiva, supreme bliss state, again, a mast state. So Nad tradition is also, all the Nad gurus are Siddhas. But you can see so many expressions of Nad in the society. They have come forth and delivered to the people, or they have detached themselves from the world and supported the people energetically. Then we have the tradition of Avadhutas, Dattatreya tradition and stuff like that. So numerous paths reaching the same goal, same ocean, where their aim was to tell you who you really are. By connecting to yourself deeply and with conviction, you attain a state where you only see unity in everything. So same with Adi Shankara. He said Advaita. There's no duality, no non-duality. So everything you see the unity in action. That means zero doership. I am not doing anything. Things are happening through me. That's what Lord Krishna also said. If you surrender all that you do, I can remove you. If you surrender all that you do to me, I can release you from the karma of it. That means no doership, no karma. So it's very, very simple. But the thing is, because we have a variety of methods, like there are many Puranas, Shrutis, Smritis, Vedas, Upanishads, all these things, people get confused. Means think that, oh, this is too many things. And we have 330 million gods. So it sometimes is confusing. But if you look at the unity aspect, you can see that all these 330 million gods are 330 million aspects of ourselves. And what we are, we essentially are, that's the frequency we can connect to. So all of us have our frequency. And when we say, oh, I like that person, or he or she is my type, that only means we are connecting to that frequency, which is suitable for us. So all our connections, all our, the journey that within, it's all connected to the frequency we have acquired, we have come with, and we have developed. And that's exactly why we have bhakti, devotion path, jnana, knowledge path, and karma yoga, selfless action path, and then Raja Yoga, the supreme consciousness path. All these paths are because there are that many types of people. And everybody can attain the supreme consciousness by using the path which suits them. So this kind of variety, this is the gift of Bharat to the world.
I agree with this variety, and I think because of this variety, we enjoy. And we also have freedom of choice. We can choose whatever we like. Sometimes when we have a lot of choices, it creates more problems because we are under pressure that which choice will be a better choice. That is also a problem. When you suggested, then immediately one quote was going in my mind, which I quoted earlier. It's from Harivansh Rai Bachchan, and he mentioned clearly, "मदिरालय जाने को घर से चलता है पीने वाला, अलग अलग पथ बतलाते सब पर मैं ये बतलाता हूँ, रात पकड़ तू एक चला चल पा जाएगा मधुशाला." Means he is trying to say, just pick up one pathway, follow it, finally you will achieve. If Mohanji, someone like me who want to know or who want to experience that vast consciousness, that ocean of the consciousness, if I will request you, then within maybe in 2 minutes or 3 minutes, which pathway will you suggest and what will you suggest that what should I be do?
Simple, Mr. Jodha. What suits you? What makes you feel okay, good? Like the paths cannot be suggested by outside or anybody from outside, and should not be, because that's the free will that our great Bharat has given to this world. You can choose to connect to completely material existence without regrets, or connect to completely spiritual existence without regrets. So both options are there, and everything in between are there. So what is the right path for us? The path that really makes us feel aligned. For some people, devotion is very, very easy and very enjoyable. That's their path. So that bhakti path, you surrender yourself to the Lord, and then you dissolve into the Lord, and you become the Lord, whoever you are worshipping. Likewise, jnana path, through knowledge, you try to assimilate what is this consciousness about, and this whole consciousness, and then you assimilate that knowledge, digest it, and then you eliminate whatever is not that consciousness, and dissolve. Then selfless path, purification path. When you don't own things, you are free. Ownership actually is binding, and more you own, more and more bound you become, and more difficult it is to detach from it. So that is selfless path. And Raja Yoga path, supreme consciousness, pure brightness, no forms, and that path, and then you see your soul, connect your soul, and that path. So each person has to. I mean, there's nothing to choose here. It's basically what suits you. When you feel aligned, when you do an activity, that tells you, that suits you. Just like the shirt you wear, the dress you wear. If the size is correct, you feel good about it. So similarly, a path, when you feel good about the path, even the guru frequency, external guru frequency, there are numerous masters who have attained the supreme consciousness, who have found the truth. And we can't follow everybody. There are so many religions, so many paths, so many systems. We can't follow everybody, and we don't have to. But we can connect to somebody whom you feel really connected. Okay, this guy resonates with me, or I'm able to understand him, or at least I can understand that energy, and that's enough. Then look no further. That's what Yogananda also said. If you consider me as your guru, I'm all gurus. Look no further. That's exactly the whole system is talking about. You can focus on one, go deeper and deeper and deeper, and then you dissolve. I'll give you a small story. This actually happened. There was a great scholar, and there was a totally illiterate man looking after this scholar. So whenever this scholar was going around, he used to take this guy to help him. And he was listening to his speeches in various places. And one day, this illiterate man asked him, "Master, everywhere you are going, wherever you're going, you're talking about supreme consciousness. What is the supreme consciousness?" Then he was how will I explain to this guy? So he said, "Can you see a buffalo there? That's supreme consciousness." So this guy thought it's true, because he did not understand that the master was joking. And after a while, few years passed by, and one day they were going through a small alley, and the master passed through, and this guy is not coming. He got stuck. So then the master said, "Why are you not coming?" He said, "The supreme consciousness cannot come with me through this alley, because the alley is too small. This is too big." Then he said, "What supreme consciousness are you talking about?" Then he said, "Master, please touch me and look." When master touched him and looked, behind him was a huge buffalo. And that big guy cannot come through the small gateway. And then this master understood that this guy was doing practice on single-pointed practice on this buffalo, a thing like buffalo, and he materialized him. So supreme consciousness in the form of a buffalo connected to him. So this is that simple. If you have faith, belief, single-pointed connection, you have that effect.
Yeah, I think my questions will never end, because this is an unending questioning. I was reading, and then I found one important pearl of words. The hardest things to keep in this world is a tiny promise. Things are easier said than done. If promises are not delivered, man takes more lives too to complete it. Hence, promises are quite detrimental. If unfulfilled, it increases karmic weight. This is also a very good, powerful sentence which I read. I wish I can go through a lot of chapters from this book, especially this book Mast. And few people, those who read, they also sent me their quotations about this book. They said this is a guide to live life in harmony with yourself, your fellow human beings and planet Earth, practical spirituality for everyday life. To help yourself navigating society and help others in process. Must brings you in an inner joy towards finding you in an extremely easy way. We will definitely talk about this in future. I would like to pay thanks to you, your team, those who have supported. We will be in touch, and hopefully we will also try to find the vast ocean of consciousness, and I wish the same for all the audiences. Thank you, Mohanji, for joining us
Thank you very
tonight
much.
in Thames
Thank
Speaks.
you. Wish you great success.
Thank you.